The Footlocker Road Race of the Month is brought to you by Footlocker, where it all begins. And by McDonald's. What you want is what you get at McDonald's today.
Traditionally, there are two big holiday weekends every summer. There's July 4th and then there's Labor Day. And that's fine for most of the country, I'm sure. But for the people on Cape Cod, they need a third. And they call theirs the Falmouth Road Race. And today they're celebrating their 22nd anniversary. Joining me on the broadcast, the American record holder of the mile, Steve Scott. Steve, you spent most of your summers through your career on the European track circuit. And I'm sure they must think they have fun over there. But do they have anything like this?
If I knew that the road racers were this much fun, I would have given up the track and just run completely on the roads. This weekend has been a real hoot. They have a good time in the road racing circuit. And I think what else is so special about this event is a course. It starts in Woods Hole, a quaint little fishing village, runs a lot along the ocean. It's a great course, and we really had a great time.
Yes, in fact, we had, as Steve would say, a hoot. Let's meet another great tradition, some of the great fields that they have assembled here.
My name is Keith Dowling. I live and train in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and I am 25.
Thomas Asano, 24 years old. I'm from Kisii, Kenya.
Ed Eystone, I'm 33 years old, and I'm from Layton, Utah.
Arturo Barrios, I'm 31 years old, from Mexico City.
My name is Simon Karori from Kenya. I am coming here for races in Falmouth.
Hey, I'm Anne-Marie Letko, and I'm living in Marietta, Georgia.
Rosanna Munerotto, Italia, Venezia. My name's Gwen Coogan. I'm from Boulder, Colorado now, and I'm 29 today. Today's my birthday.
I'm Johnny Kelly. I'm 86 years old. I live in East Ennis. My 22nd Falmouth race. Good luck.
Co-race directors Rich Sherman and John Carroll get the first wave of a record field of 9,300 runners off and running. Now today we're going to do things a little bit differently. We're going to let the runners themselves take us through this race. We watched them compete, and then we went around afterwards and had the contenders explain what happened out along the shores of Vineyard Sound. We begin our commentary with a young up-and-coming American, Keith Dowling, who now lives in Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Well, I think all eyes were on Benson, because Benson's an aggressive runner. I mean, an ex-boxer. I watch his movements. He kind of goes out 5 meters, looks around. I mean, he's someone that I respect him. I like the way he runs. He's really aggressive. Puts his hands down, clenches his fist. I mean, that's what I was thinking. I was looking at him, and I was doing my best to try to keep up with that group. My major thought was I was trying to think of these guys as my friends. These are my competitors. They're going to help me run a faster time, and that's how I was calming myself down, because it was crazy the first 2 miles. I want to get used to the pace of these canyons. This is going to be the next couple of years. I'm not going to be able to duck these guys. This is what I'm going to need to do.
As we've come to expect, defending champion Simon Karori, he's closest to the camera, William Koech in the middle, and 92 champion Benson Masha applied enormous pressure early on. Even other Kenyans were under fire, as we hear from Mbarak Hussein.
Yeah, my strategy was to try to stay with them for the fast mile. I knew it was going to be a suicidal fast mile, but I say the only way you can stay with them is to go with them the fast mile. So I went with them. And the effort in the fast mile, I think, was the same as a sub 410 mile on a regular course.
Who was dictating that? Who was really pushing it?
I think Masha was really. Karori came in, it started out pretty good, and then all of a sudden, I think 800 meters or 600, Karori just put a surge, and it kind of walked Masha up. And then from there, he just took it hard. Yeah, he was in control from there.
Benson Masha put pressure on the field early, going through in a 4:19 first mile. And what that does to a lot of runners, it just puts them into early oxygen debt.
What's your name?
Chris Doms.
And your name?
Gabrielle Doms.
Gabrielle and Chris. Somebody was just saying, who are you waiting for out here? Gabrielle?
My dad.
Your dad?
Our father just passed by, and we're just waiting here watching the crowd.
Yeah, and how'd your dad look?
Good. Tired, though.
Tired? Did you expect that?
Yeah.
Now, how close was he to the leader?
Very far away.
So that was a couple miles?
Yeah.
It's only a 7-mile race, Chris.
Oh, yeah, he's pretty far behind. He said he was out of shape because he just had surgery.
No, because he's got kids. That's why he's out of shape. Thanks, Chris and Gabrielle. Appreciate it.
And we'll be back with more from Falmouth right after we take this break.
Footlocker Road Race of the Month. We are the official trash picker-uppers.
I'm Nate, the trash picker-upper.
I'm Scott, the trash picker-upper.
I'm Mike, the trash picker-upper.
And we all pick up trash.
And they got their hands full after the race because the Falmouth Heights ball field is packed with trash after the race, with barbecues and parties going on. The lead pack, on the other hand, is packed with Kenyans. The times being run in this era are really not that much different than those being run 10 and 15 years ago when Bill Rogers, Craig Virgin, Al Salazar, the American stars, were doing their winning. The difference is that back then, the Americans trained in groups, like the Kenyans do today, while top U.S. runners of 1994 train either in pairs or alone.
You know, you hate to let the pack go and get away from you right at the first mile, but when they go through in 4:18, you've got to make a decision early on, and sometimes the decision is made for you because the pace is just so fast that you realize there's no way you can hold it, and you would actually be foolish to go out that fast.
We were in the truck, so we didn't really feel the temperature out there as the athletes were running. In the truck, it felt great because we had a breeze going as we were driving along. How was it actually out there today?
Now, the truck always feels pretty good. But yeah, as we came on, especially the exposed area on the ocean, you could really feel the humidity heating up, and you know, there was wind kind of battering you around, so it was warm. I think everybody was grabbing water at every chance they could, and that felt good. But you know, when you're running that hard, you can really get no relief till you cross the finish line.
I think one of the big differences is the Mexicans. We are just like 3 or 4 Mexicans, and they are like 15, and you never know with them who comes in very good shape. Sometimes one, other times it's other, but always they are in good shape. 5 can fight for the finish, to be in the top, and sometimes one Mexican comes and one can fight against them, but it's only one. And I feel that if we train more to work by team against them, we can do a little bit more.
The women's race began as somewhat of a surprise. Running with Kenyan star Delilah Asiago was the University of Florida's Laura Maikatak, returning from a severe leg injury in her first big race since late winter.
Anne-Marie took it out pretty quickly. Delilah and myself were all right in the chase, and I think we went through the mile in 4:52, feeling pretty comfortable. We were going up a slight grade, and Anne-Marie just kind of went behind me, and I kind of lost her for a while, and let Delilah take the pace for a good 3 or 4 miles.
Tell me about Delilah as you're running along with her. What do you notice? What did you sense about her?
I wondered who she was. I sensed that she was pretty strong. She was clicking off. Good pace, you know, good form, looked comfortable, and she had some gentleman to the side of her who was helping her a little bit, somebody that she was staying with, I think maybe to help her with the pace and everything. And I just kind of stayed in that little group.
The pre-race favorite was Anne-Marie Letkill, living in Marietta, Georgia. She's won the Advil Mini in '94, also the Peachtree Road Race and the Bob Hassan 10K in Indonesia. But she fell off the pace right from the start.
Once the gun went off, I knew something was up. My legs just felt very heavy. I just knew it wasn't a good day for me, and I couldn't react to a quick pace, which is what it was at the beginning. So I just stayed in and struggled at points in time. I really felt strongly about maybe dropping out and just canning it.
But sometimes you can roll into a race and begin to feel better.
There are times that when you show up for a race, you're not feeling really good during the warm-up phase and right before the race starts, but usually you should be feeling better by the time the gun sounds. And I think the problem with a lot of women, especially American women, is they just simply overtrain and do too much in the days or weeks leading up to a race.
Hi, it's getting pretty thick. Can I sit down here with you all? All right. What's your name?
Lori.
Lori, got any extra gum?
What?
Got any extra gum? All right, well, you take your chances. What's your name, ma'am?
Gail Maurer.
No, what are you guys out here watching? Besides the road race, anything in particular?
We were looking for someone from Williamsport, Pennsylvania. We don't know the person personally, but that's where we're from, and we've come to the road race for many years. So we haven't spotted her.
You don't know who this person is. There's 9,000 people running along here, and you're looking for somebody from Williamsport, Pennsylvania.
Right.
Do I have that right?
Right, exactly.
Falmouth and its fans continues right after this.
Welcome back to the Footlocker Road Race of the Month in Falmouth, Massachusetts.
Benson Masha, a man among boys so far with an 8-second lead over the second pack.
Slip up mentally, which I think that happened to me once or twice today, but I'm getting better at that. I think that's where I have to work. That's something I have to work on, is my concentration. After going out under 9 minutes, you tend to maybe lose a little concentration when there's 20 guys in front of you and you're thinking, I'm going as fast as I can go and I'm still getting creamed here, So I did everything I could to keep a positive attitude, basically. But you're right, if you slip up mentally, one or two people in this type of race they're going to take advantage of that.
You really have to go out fast. I mean, you know, with these people, you don't give them not even 1 second, because if you give them 1 second, that's it. You're gonna lose the race. There's no way you can afford to give them, 5 or 10 seconds and hoping that they're gonna come back, because there's no way they're gonna come back. So you really want to do something. You really have to go out with them, and it's gonna be either you die or you win the race.
Now on the press truck with his observations was former Trek superstar Sebastian Coe.
There's a heck of a change in discipline as well. It's about mile marks, it's about splits, it's about pace judgment. A race on the road is very much a way, you've got to grab it, you've got to grip it, you've got to take it sometimes and be quite courageous. I wouldn't write Barrios off on this, because he'll bring to this a lot of that European experience, and you don't break 10,000 meter world records on the track without knowing how to actually pace yourself.
Well, Sebastian's one of those believers in the European track system, but things have changed over the years, and it's no longer the track men who can dominate the road people. We got road specialists like Benson Masha. Here's a look at the fastest times in Falmouth history. Only 3 men have broken 32 minutes, and Benson Masha, of course, being the course record holder, is one of them, along with Alberto Salazar. Delilah Asiago from Kenya was doing the leading in the first 3 miles, her first time at Falmouth. She was second at the George Sheehan Classic in New Jersey the week before, and only 4th at the big 7-miler a few weeks before that, so she wasn't coming in hot off any victories. But Laura Maikatak continued to be the real surprise, looking very good in second place, even though there was now a gap where previously there wasn't. But Anne-Marie Letko began to finally start to find herself and regain contact with the 2 leaders at this point.
Laura Maikatak, being shown here, was the surprise of the race. She's a journeyman runner. We asked her where she's from, and she said she lives now in Pennsylvania, but her address is down in Florida somewhere. So she was a surprise at this point to be this close to the lead pack. I asked her after the race, well, how did you feel? And she says, well, do you even know who I am? And I go, yeah, of course I know who you are. You just won one of the biggest road races in the country. Anne-Marie Letko, on the other hand, is someone that everybody knows, and she is breathing down Laura Maikatak's neck.
Time for this month's Power Bar Road Report. Power Bar, fuel for optimum performance. A new element to Falmouth this year, the kids' races the day before the adults go at 7 miles. And hosting the occasion, one of the world's great milers.
This is a great start for kids. Do you have programs like this going on in England?
We don't, and we should do, because it brings sport into the community, and you've got a big elite race like the race we've got on Sunday here, and yet you've got the kids that are able to see some spin-off from it, and the community that's able to get behind it. It's a terrific idea.
Now, the important thing, how's politics going on in England?
I wish it was as certain as what was going on out here today. The last 2 years have been difficult. The hours have been long. We have crazy hours. We sit sometimes through the night, sometimes on a regular basis, perhaps 2 or 3 weeks at a time. So my sleep patterns are a little shot to pieces. We're now on recess, so it's the time of the year we're not sitting. So most people it's the only profession I know where people who have normal professions say that when they go on holiday they're going to stay up all hours of the night drinking and partying. Politics is the only profession I know where you look forward to going to bed at 9:30 as soon as you get a holiday.
That's this month's Power Bar Road Report. Power Bar, fuel for optimum performance. By 4.5 miles, Masha had broken everyone but Barrios, who refused to concede defeat.
Every single race, there are 10, 15 Kenyans, and you never know who's going to be racing well that given day. So that's why I was committed to go after Benson or after another Kenyan, and I know that basically was going to be to go after them or to die. And I know that when I say die, you can go from 2nd place to 15th place. And that doesn't mean that you had a good race when you finish 15. It just means that there are too many good people. And that's why I was committed to go after him. I was surprised really that nobody came with me, because after 3 miles I was pretty much running by myself.
I was surprised to see Arturo running here today. His daughter had surgery on Wednesday, but everything seemed to be okay, and he's running well here today.
Part of racing is knowing and then seizing the moment. Between 4 and 5 miles, Mike attacked.
I saw her form. She was starting to do a little bit more shoulder swing, and I thought she was getting tired. She was looking a little bit more tired than I was, and I was feeling real fresh at that point. So I figured she was going outside on a curve where I felt that the straighter line would have been better, and I just cut it right inside and right along the curve, and just started building a lead, 10, 15, 20 meters. And pretty soon, I think within a half a mile, I was up to 40 meters.
So Asiago was now out of it and fading. That left the race up to Anne-Marie Letko, who was coming from behind and gaining fast. The lead was still manageable, 5 seconds, but turning Falmouth Harbor, the victory was still not assured. We'll have the men's finish when we return.
Number 1 in the nation and love it all the way. And I'd like to say, all you Auburn Tigers, we'll see you at the swamp. The swamp, that's right. We paid our refs there. Gators!
And now it's time for this month's Reebok Racing Tip with 93 Falmouth champ Colleen DeRook.
I think it's just consistently have hard work, training, and just perseverance. And I think just having your breaks and your rests so that you don't get injured. For fartlek, you'd run hard for a minute, and then you'd have like a minute jog recovery, run hard for 2 minutes, a minute jog recovery, and you just play with time. Minute to 3 minutes different fartlek, and preferably on a golf course. That's what I think, if I run that hard and well, and I feel good, and I'm ready.
Colleen is pregnant with her and husband Darren's first child, and that's why she's not in Falmouth defending her 93 title. At 10 kilometers, Benson Masha at 28:09, 1 second under the course record time. So he lost considerable time in the last mile. And Barrios continued to press it, hoping that with Masha's fading and his steady pace, victory could still be his. But going up the final hill, Masha kept making slight turns to see what kind of a cushion he had. And he did manage that lead. And with the buoyant support of the crowd who knew him as the course record holder, he managed to come down the final stretch as champion for the second time and running the 4th fastest time in Falmouth history.
You got to hand it to Arturo Barrios. In his last 4 races, he's come in 7th, 6th, 4th, and now 2nd place. But on this day, the king of the roads is Benson Masha, and he comes in with a near record time.
7 seconds later, Barrios, a frustrated second. And in third with a blistering last 2 miles, Brazil's Ronaldo da Costa, a surprise in 3rd place. And then 4th, the defending champion Simon Karori.
Here's a look at our Footlocker scoreboard for men.
In the final stretch of the women's race, it was a tenacious Anne-Marie Letko closing in on Mike Attack.
Normally, if I'm working my way up, say like at Bix, a couple weeks ago when I was from behind, and Tekla LaRoupe, who won the race, she was so far in front I couldn't have thought that. But today, if I had felt at least strong the way I did at Bix, even though I wasn't winning, I would have had some high hopes. But I really was dead on my feet the whole way through. And even when I caught Laura, I thought, well, what am I going to do? I have nothing in my legs. And it wasn't a question of guts or anything like that, of just kind of kick it in. I just really didn't have anything left.
As I started going up the last ascent, when Anne-Marie had caught up to me at the top of the hill, they had been cheering for her, and I knew she was coming up. But I was feeling at that point, for her to come as far back as she did, because I had heard that she was pretty far back, for her to come up that fast, that quickly, within a couple of miles, must have been really pretty grinding on you. So I knew that I'd be a lot fresher than she was at the top of that hill, no matter, how good of a kick she has. It's a downhill, and I've got long legs and good turnover, so I figured that anybody who came up that hill, short of Lynn Jennings, I'd be able to beat pretty easily.